Good evening. For more than 2 decades, Steam has been the pillar of PC gaming. It's a place built on trust, where millions of us buy and play games feeling completely secure. Well, it turns out that very trust has been turned into a weapon.
And this is serious. In a pretty unusual move, the FBI's Seattle division has put out an urgent alert. They are actively looking for victims of a very sophisticated malware campaign. And here's the kicker. This campaign used the Steam store itself to infect people's computers.
Okay, let's get straight to it. Here is the bottom line, right up front. A threat actor managed to publish multiple indie games on Steam with malicious software embedded right inside. And we're not talking about some minor virus. This was an info stealer, specifically designed to steal your data, drain your bank account, and yes, empty out your crypto wallets.
So listen up. The FBI has named 7 specific games. Take a good look at this list. If you, your kids, or anyone in your household downloaded any of these titles between May of 2024 and January of 2026, the FBI considers you a potential target of this operation. And listen, even if you've uninstalled them, the damage might already be done.
Right. So the big question is, how on earth does something like this happen? We're talking about Steam here. It wasn't a brute force hack in the traditional sense. No, the answer is way more clever and frankly a lot more worrying. They exploited the very system that's supposed to help small independent game developers.
To really get it, you have to look at how Steam has changed over the years. It used to be a really curated system, right? But then Valve switched to something called Steam Direct. Basically, for $100, almost anyone can publish a game. And while that's been amazing for indie creators, it also created a weak spot. The initial security check is mostly just an automated scan.
So here's how they pulled it off. It's a classic bait and switch. The attackers don't put the malware in the game at first. Of course not, it would get caught. Instead, they submit a totally clean, harmless version of the game. It passes all of Valve's automated checks. Then they wait, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. Then they push out a game update or a patch. And hidden inside that update, that's where the malware is. And because it's an update, Steam just automatically downloads it for you.
The kind of malware they used is called an info stealer, and it's really sneaky. You know how when you log into a website, you don't have to type your password in every single time? That's thanks to something called a session cookie. It's like a temporary digital key that tells the site, yep, this person is logged in. Well, this malware steals that key. The hacker can then use it on their own computer, and to that website, it looks like it's you. That's how they get around things like two-factor authentication.
And you have to understand, this was not just a one-time thing. The FBI is involved now because this was a sustained campaign. The attackers were testing Valve's security for over a year, and, well, they were succeeding.
It started back in early 2025 with a game called Pirate Fee. Then later, a security firm flagged another game, Chemia. Then came the Block Blasters incident, and it just kept going. Each time, the attackers used the exact same trick: publish a clean game, then patch in the malware later. And yeah, Valve would eventually take the games down, but not before people got infected. It all added up, and that's why the feds are involved now.
And the amount of money we're talking about, it's just staggering. Just from that one game, Block Blasters, the attackers are estimated to have stolen over $150,000. And that's just what they know about, before the game was finally pulled.
But you know, a number like that, it's just a number. It doesn't really tell the whole story. To really understand the damage this caused, the devastating human cost of it all, you need to hear about what happened to one particular player.
Okay, so picture this. It's late 2025. There's a streamer who goes by Rassilin TV, and he's live on stream. He's raising money for his stage 4 cancer treatment. His community is donating. Then someone in his chat offers him a donation if he'll play this new little indie game, a game called Block Blasters.
So he does. He installs it right from the Steam store, because why wouldn't he? It's Steam. And within minutes, live, on camera with everyone watching, he sees over $32,000 disappear from his crypto wallet, money that was meant for his medical care. Just gone.
And that story, it just perfectly captures the danger here. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't click on a suspicious link in an email. He didn't download something from a shady website. He played a game that Steam, the most trusted platform in PC gaming, told him was safe. The attack came right through the front door.
So now the FBI is building its case. They're looking for victim statements, trying to get enough to go for a federal indictment, and maybe even get some of that money back for people. But this whole situation leaves Valve, the company behind Steam, with a really big, complicated problem.
See, here's the fundamental issue. The very thing that makes Steam so great, the fact that it's this open platform where indie developers can easily publish games and push out updates, that's also its biggest weakness. The freedom and speed that developers love is the exact same thing these hackers are using as a weapon.
So you might be thinking, what's the solution? Well, to completely stop this from ever happening again, Valve would have to manually review every single update for every single one of the more than 100,000 games on Steam. Can you imagine? It would grind the entire system to a halt. Legitimate bug fixes would be delayed for weeks. It would completely change what Steam is. And that's the big question that not just Valve, but every digital store is facing as this FBI investigation moves forward. How do you protect millions of users without completely breaking the system for all the legitimate creators? There are no easy answers here. So for now, the takeaway for you and me is pretty simple. Be careful. Maybe take a look through your own game library and just be a little more skeptical, even when you're on a platform you thought you could trust completely.